So I want to introduce to you Mr. R.L. Clark. He was past senator back in 1994. He's running against...
I served this area in 95, 96, 97, and 98, along with Senator Jess Ledbetter. The two of us served 5 counties, Buncombe, Madison, Yancey, McDowell, and Burke. I'm a candidate this time for Senate District 49, which is 76% of Buncombe County, the Democrat portion of Buncombe County that no Republican is supposed to be able to win. It's up to the voters to make that decision. I have a voting record, folks. Anybody can research my voting record. In the 4 years that Jess Ledbetter and I were down there, we cut over $1 billion in personal, food, excise, inheritance, and business taxes.
Yeah.
We refunded illegally collected taxes to federal and state employees. The state had illegally collected them, and the courts ruled that they had done so illegally. We repealed the intangibles taxes. That was a tax that merchants had to pay on inventory. We returned the control of the state education system to the local boards of education. And where is the control today? It's back in Raleigh and in Washington.
Yep.
We cut the Raleigh-based Pink Palace staff, that was the State Department of Public Instruction, close to 50%. Where are they today? They're back and overflowing the same building again. And the teachers are left holding the bag. We created public charter schools, the first time ever in North Carolina. And Chad referred to a certain individual. We required sex offenders to register for life. We repealed the
We need to hang them one time and be done with it.
We increased the homestead exemption for elders. And I personally never voted, not one time, for one state or local tax increase in the 4 years that I was there. We also enacted legislation which had never existed before in North Carolina to define marriage as between one man and one woman. There's a lot of other things that we did, and I'm just pointing out what we accomplished in the 90s. If you put conservative Republicans, and I'm talking about conservative Republicans, back in control of the North Carolina General Assembly, this is just a sampling of what you can get.
Yeah.
I mentioned that I'm running in a gerrymandered, Democrat-drawn legislative district, which is unconstitutional. The North Carolina State Constitution specifically says that no state senate or state house district shall be formed except in a whole county. The U.S. Supreme Court and the North Carolina State Supreme Court within the last 2 years has ruled and directed the North Carolina General Assembly to adhere to the Constitution of the state of North Carolina in drawing legislative districts. And this coming year, the people who are elected this November will be drawing new legislative districts. Now, there's one exception to the order of the state Supreme Court and the U.S. Supreme Court, and that's the counties in North Carolina that have 50% or more minority representation. That's either, and I can't remember, it's 10 or 11 counties that would not be covered by the state constitution. The others are covered. The current General Assembly, even though these orders came down last year, they have totally ignored the court orders, and they're going on just like they didn't exist.
Wow.
Everybody says we need jobs. Yes, we need jobs. And how do we get jobs? We get jobs by reducing your personal taxes. We get jobs by reducing business taxes. And we get new jobs by reducing unnecessary rules and regulations at the municipal, county, and state and federal levels. Folks, we've got to have some relief. Taxes and rules and regulations are strangling our small businesses.
Yep.
I spent a career in the North Carolina executive branch. I worked under the administrations of 6 North Carolina governors. It got so bad in 1990 or 83 that I couldn't carry out the orders of the governor's office, and I chose to take retirement because there's so much corruption in every aspect of state government. The executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch. It's less prevalent in the judiciary, but how does a judge get his job? He's generally appointed by the governor on a temporary basis when there's a vacancy, and then they run for re-election. Folks, we are in sad shape in North Carolina. And one of the things that we need desperately is school choice for students and parents. We need school vouchers so that students and their parents can let the students go to private schools so that we don't have to build new state facilities. Let the private sector take care of this. We're going to continue to have increased population, so we've got to figure out how can we give relief to the taxpayers and still educate our students. And they're turning hardened criminals out of prison now because they claim they don't have space in the state prisons. They've not looked for a solution. The solution to overcrowding in state prisons is very simple. You let the private sector build the prisons, and then you let the private sector run the prisons. That way you don't have to put the state further in debt, and it takes care of itself. There are just so many. And I think Dickie mentioned something. We need to make English the official language in the state of North Carolina. We don't need to be going to a polling place and have a ballot in Spanish or some other language. We need English as the official language of North Carolina. And we're getting road signs and language other than English. Folks, we've got to put a stop to it. I know the majority of you probably are not in the district that I would represent if elected, but I've tried to give everybody, and those that didn't, I'll give you one of my handouts. So that, as I said, I have a voting record. I know what I want to do, and I need your support and your votes. Thank you.
Thank you.